What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have semifinals of our Pioneer 1K RCQ live from Impact Gaming Center in the fabulous Fairview Heights. We've got John C. on Niv to Light and Dean M. on Azorius Control. Both of these players are playing Yorian. So they are both off screen, but they are presented and they are there, I promise. Just take my word for it. John C. Was on camera earlier. Dean was also on camera earlier. Both players won their matches, which is probably why, we are seeing them here. And yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And a cycle of censor. John, very patient. Very patient there. Not going for the Fable until he had an extra mana. But, unfortunately for him, it will be met with a no more lies. So a pass back. Dean draws Hallowed Fountain for the turn. Shocking it in. Down to 18. Thank you, John. And a pass back. Dean defeated Nick G, who was on the mono black control deck. He beat him in the quarters, and John C beat Richard N, who was on Azorius Spirits. That's how they got here. And fetch land, gonna go get an island. And here is Yorian the Sky Nomad. But Dean says, no thank you. 3 steps ahead of you. And there is Narset, the Parter of Veil. She's gonna look at the top 4 cards and pick a censor. Card's a lot less impressive when your opponents know about it. But John was already playing around it, and it's a draw spell at the very least. Just a little cantrip. Here is Leyline Binding. Dovin's Veto, that's a good counterspell, though, and Dean's got them all. Another one. John does, too. Alrighty. Fable Passage, pass back. Dean draws another Hallowed Fountain. This time he's going to play his Restless Anchorage. That, of course, becomes a 2/3 flyer that when it attacks, it makes 2 map tokens. John gonna fetch. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see their graveyards just a tad. I like having the camera as close as possible, but as you can see, the Dorian's both right there. See, I wasn't lying to y'all. Alrighty. What does John have in his hand? That is the question here. Dean has a Wandering Emperor. Another Fable Passage. Oh, wow. And there's Niv Mizzet. Is this going to resolve? We can cycle to try and find an actual counterspell. That's exactly what we're going to do. That's not a counterspell. That is a Narset, though. But this is going to be pretty good if John doesn't whiff like he did in the last time he was in the feature match area. He literally bricked, 100% brick. There's Vanishing Verse, Lightning Helix, Unmoored Ego. All great cards. Lightning Helix not I won't say it's great, but Unmoored Ego is really good. If he can hit Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, I mean, Dean has other ways to win the game, but that'll definitely be a thorn that John doesn't have to worry about. And now Dean's kind of in a position where he probably doesn't want to cast. Yeah, he doesn't want to cast his. Well, he's got to commit. That would have been nice to be on top, but he's gonna shock in the Hallowed Fountain. He's gonna play Narset Parter of Veils. We're gonna look at the top 4 cards of the deck. Supreme Verdict's a pretty good one. Well, there's a Teferi. Can't play it. Only gets one of these. He's gonna grab the Teferi. Pretty sure Unmoored Ego hits the hand though. Dean have a counterspell other than, well, commit is essentially a counterspell, so fair enough. And John gonna go fetch at the end step. Just when we thought we had a format without fetch lands, am I right? Dean was 4-0 and then just double drew into the top 8. He was atop the standings. Obviously, when it was all said and done, Dan B, who we saw on camera earlier, was the number 1 seed. But Dean and Dan's on 4 color humans. Been kind of running away with this tournament. John, if he has it his way, he'll stop him in his tracks. Let's see. Are we going for Unmoored Ego? Down to 21. Here is Unmoored Ego. You will learn sooner than later what John's named with this. Oh, is he just letting it happen? Yeah, 1000% you named Teferi Hero of Dominaria. I'm quite shocked that he allowed that to resolve. Oh, is he? He only has the. Oh, he's got 2. Usually these Yorion decks, Yorion Azorius control decks, play more than just 2, I believe. I'm a big Azorius control fan, but I've never casted the card Yorion. Always going the 60 card route. Watching Dean play these games though today, I might be trying Yorion control. Well, now John knows Dean has the Wandering Emperor in hand. I would imagine he would likely not like to attack and lose his Niv. There's a Pillage the Bog. And I have Village the Bog up here. I'm going to show it to y'all real quick. Look at the top X card of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. And then it also has plot. I didn't see what he grabbed. Anybody in chat see what he grabbed? Anybody in the comments? What did he grab? Let me know. Yeah, John just passing back. Committing the Niv. Second from the top, yeah. If he ever gets to memory that bad boy with Narset on the battlefield, it's lights out. Assuming he's not dead on board. Just a Field of Ruin. He's got a memory here. Refill his hand. Yeah, John doesn't seem quite pleased with it, but Dean gonna get to refill his hand. See whose hand's better. Yeah, if Narset would have been on the battlefield, John would have drawn one card. Very aggressive to let the Niv Delight player refill their hand, though. But hey, desperate times, desperate measures. Cycle to Spara's headquarters. Oh, and here's a Bring to Light. Does Dean have a 2-mana counter spell? It's kind of worst case scenario here. I guess since John pillaged the bog, like it was just correct to cast memory there, but not really what you want to do. Dean doesn't look like somebody who has a 2-mana counterspell. And yeah, John gonna get to search his deck for Niv Mizzet if he so chooses. I assume he will be chooses. Oh, it's a Valky. Oh gosh, and he's gonna cast Tibalt. Ooh, that's good. I like doing that. No more lies. I will pay for your no more lies. Oh man, this game went from uncomfortable to really hard to win the game very quickly for Dean. Especially with no Teferi to be able to tuck it. Leyline. And a land. He can play Dean's land too. He elects to play his own land though. Dean gonna untap. Oh, there. Oh my gosh, he just drew the... He just drew the Dovin's veto that he needed to counter the Bring to Light. That is absolutely brutal. Restless Anchorage is going to be able to attack this Tibalt down a little bit. So he has two... Those are map tokens. Just for everyone watching. Let's explore. That'll put a +1/+1 counter on the Anchorage. And Dean will pass the turn back. John will exile the top card of both players' library. Does Dean want that card? Does he have a way to draw? I don't know. All right. Omnath. Nom nom nom. And an absorb. Okay, that was pretty necessary, in my opinion, for this game to continue on. This one's like Dean just has to find a piece, like some way to get rid of this Tybalt, or else John's gonna run away with this one if he hasn't already. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Gonna make a little Goblin Shaman that when it attacks, you make a treasure. Still, he has a way to pressure Tybalt, but unfortunately, he just gets the counters right back. Down to 17 goes Dean. And there's a Narset. Let's see what we can find off Narset. Cannot take Hall of Storm Giant. Might be a way to smack down the Tybalt. Sunfall, Censor, Veto. Veto is the choice. Veto is in your hand, Dean. There you go. So, Lightning Helix gets countered by Dovin's Veto. And so, was that a Leyline Binding, I think? Tested the other Leyline Binding? I forget what that card does, but it kills Narset good. Jetmir Garden and temporary lockdown. There's no incentive to scoop until, well, there's no incentive to scoop in top 8. These are untimed rounds, so we will get a decided winner. So if these were timed rounds, though, if I were Dean, sitting in Dean's position, I would concede. But because they are not, I would not. Maybe something happens. Yeah, Element of the Seas looks pretty good, doesn't it? I didn't quite see if he topped. It looked like he either topped or bottomed. Do not know. An attack here from a Goblin Shaman. Fable Passage. Getting a basic forest, and yeah. Oh gosh, there's another Bring to Light. Again, no reason to concede here. But I think this game is just about over. Yep. There's Niv. And here we go. We're going to get to take a look at the top 10 cards of John's deck. Vanishing Verse, Pillage the Bog are the two cards he will hit. Both very good cards. Especially this late in the game. Just the later in the game it is, the better these kind of cards get. And here's a Beans. And a pass back. A Darkar Waste, the draw for Dane. Memory Deluge. Let's see what we can find. Land. March of Otherworldly Light, I believe. So that'll be one of them. That finds us a good, clean answer to Niv. Let's look up. Checking. I've ultimated this Tibalt before. Exile all cards from all graveyards. Add 3 red. Yeah, that will be lights out. And John can pop off that ultimate this turn, I do believe. Yep. Add 3 red. And now he's got counter magic and like all this other stuff. He's going to play Narset. And Dean just has lands in hand. So we talked earlier when Dean was on camera about Azorius control and garbage time. Well, the other side to that coin is when you're sitting in the Azorius control seat and your opponent is in garbage time. That is certainly what we've encountered here. Because as I sit here, I don't see any way Dean can come back. And yeah, Dean has seen enough. That's going to do it. John going to take game number 1 here in the semifinals of our Pioneer 1K RCQ. So let's reset these life totals for you. And let's kick it to the booth to me. Hello, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out all day. We've been streaming since 10 a.m. If you've been watching this whole time, we appreciate you. But we have some sideboarding to be done. Let's take a look. I have their deck list right here in front of me. We will talk first about the Niv to Light deck. So, Yorion, obviously not going anywhere. Pick your poison, probably not necessary. Fatal Push, definitely not. Soul Search, I gotta be honest, I don't know what that card does. Deafening Clarion, probably not. Casualties of War, that's a big spell. I could see that. Notion Thief, I could see. Ashiok, probably. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it could be a potential way to win the game. Camball, definitely. Krinko's Budge Crutcher, no, that's for Lotus. And Dovin's Veto's definitely. So of these sideboard cards, I would say Dovin's Veto, Ashiok, Notion Thief. And yeah, that's about it. Moving on over to Dean's sideboard. He also has Yorion Sky Nomad, 2 Shark Typhoons, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Knockout Blow, 2 Hallowed Moonlight. Definitely those are coming in. 2 Get Lost, I like those. Dream Trawler, I like. Chrome Host Seedchar, I like. Ashiok, definitely. So a lot of options here for our boy Dean, my boy Dean, showing us the good way of Yorion. But yeah, he got absolutely smacked that game. That was rough. Let's zoom in a little bit. Trying to stay impartial when I see Azorius control, you know. But John seems like a nice guy. Nothing personal, John. And if you're watching this after the fact. All right, reset them life totals, and hopefully both players keep a healthy 7. All righty. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. Like I said, we have 2 more pre-releases this weekend. Tomorrow, which is Sunday, we have both of them starting at 1 p.m. One will be a regular pre-release, and the other will be Two-Headed Giant. Make sure you come on up. Bring a friend if you're playing Two-Headed Giant. It's going to be a blast. We are in Fairview Heights, Illinois, located 15 minutes east of St. Louis, Missouri. And yeah, it'll be a good time. John says, I'll keep. What about you, Dean? Says, I cannot. I didn't get a good look at Dean's hand. John's got a beans, though. That's always a good place to start, right? John's itching to play the beans. If I'm not mistaken, does John have a very land-heavy hand? All right, Dean has elected to keep. He's going to start with Hallowed Fountain and pass back. Or pass. Savvy Triumph for John, pass back. A lot of land go in these first couple turns. Castle Vantress, pass back. Breeding Pool. Down to 18. He will shock and play the beans. Dean does have a get lost if he wants to cast that. Up the Beanstalk is pretty good against Azorius control because it's passive card advantage, which is kind of where you want to be if you're like a mid-range deck like this. Here's Sylvan Caryatid, says Hexproof, taps for any color mana. And that will get countered. The Wandering Emperor, our set part of Veils, going to be deployed and get activated immediately. Oh, we're so taking that Dovin's Veto. Yep. Does he have a land? No, he misses his 4th land drop. That is rough. And Leyline. Beans. John's going to draw a card. Yeah, I probably liked maybe get lost thing that Beans. Earlier in the game. But now he's got it so he can hit Leyline if he wants. Pass back. And he finds an island. That's good. Solid draw there. Or imagine Dean would just pass with Wandering Emperor in hand and counter magic at the ready. Doesn't seem like you want to be playing anything on your turn. Shock and a Steam Vents. And there's the Sky Noodle. Hold. Whatever you got to do it before John draws a card. I guess he's tapped out. It doesn't matter too much. There aren't any free. Oh, it resolves. Wow. End of the turn will get lost. The Leyline Binding. I kind of think the Up the Beanstalk, well, it's kind of already done its damage, but Up the Beanstalk seems like such a better card than Leyline Binding in this matchup. So those are map tokens for those inquiring. Our set gonna get activated. Some good options. Supreme Verdict. Memory Deluge and a counterspell. No More Lies, to be exact. No More Lies is pretty good against John well into the late game because a lot of John's stuff is pretty expensive, especially some of the Haymaker cards like Bring to Light and Niv Mizzet. So Dean will take No More Lies. Here's Soul Search. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a card. Okay, well, it didn't matter and I didn't get to read the card. We do have the technology, though. Exile that card. If it's a card, mana value is 1 or less, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. Okay. So it's an Orzhov Thoughtseize, basically. It costs, obviously, 2 mana. I don't hate it in this deck. Pretty solid. Hit it off Niv. Did you already attack? Hold on one sec. All right. Yorion killed Narset. That makes sense. And here's an Omnath that is going to get countered, but John has a mad mana for it, so it will not get countered. And here's our Wandering Emperor. Going to exile Yorion. Dean going to go up to 22. John goes up to 20 thanks to Omnath. Oh, did John crack a fetch land? I thought he was failing to find. Stephen Hagen, our judge, is sitting right there. Right by them. You can see his arm and shoulder right there by Dean. So I assume they are probably the last match in the round. Bring to light. Trigger the beans. And here is Volky. Rather, Tybalt. Yeah, and this one, once you get Tybalt on in the play with actual pressure from creatures, it becomes much harder for this Azorius control deck to come back. Not saying it can't, but it becomes much more difficult. And there's a Sunfall, so that's going to exile both of John's creatures and make a Incubate token with 2 counters on it. that can be flipped into a 2/2. But again, Dean has a two power is not great. Gonna uptick and put a counter on the. Oh, it's not a creature, so he just upticked it to nothing. Oh my gosh, there's another Omnath. And the hits keep coming here for John. John drew a card off Beans. John checking out his hand. John's deck list is 2 pages long, folks. This is not obviously the first time we've seen this card. I just don't know what it is. I know it kills things. It deals damage to things. Let's see. Is it going to be on the battlefield for long enough for me to be able to zoom in? It's a Rakdos card. I see that, yeah. If anybody knows what that card is, comment in the stream chat. Or just on YouTube. Because I want to know what that card is and what it does. Oh, is that? I don't know. Unmoored Ego. Oh no, that's Soul Share. Pass turn. It's got to Dean activates the to flip into a 2/2 Phyrexian. All Storm Giants. Now that's something that could do some damage to old Valky over there. Good old Tybalt. And folks, this might be the last round we stream, depending on whether the players play it out. There might be some kind of concession or things like that. So if this is the last round, I do want to say thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Today, we've been streaming for 8 hours at this point. So thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. We have a Tybalt Ultimate here, which this is going to be the swan song here. I mean, fortunately, I think we are in garbage time if you are an Azorius Control fan. Because here, John gets to cast all of Dean's favorite and best cards. He does get to tap whatever color mana he wants. I mean, John's a 5-color deck, so might be able to cast all these cards, but it doesn't matter. Tiger Willies. That is quite the comment. Hopefully, I assume I know you in person. Or not. Whatever. Omnath gonna crash in. Care to reveal who you are? Down to 18 goes Dean. Nice. Alrighty. Fair enough, fair enough. And there's a Wandering Emperor. Yeah, we've got a myriad of counter spells. Pick your poison at this point. Yeah, I believe John is correct. He's trying to explain to Dean, and we'll see what head judge Stephen Hagen has to say. But he can cast spells that are exiled with Tybalt using any color mana. And the No More Lies. It's gonna stop it. When you're countering your own counter spells, try and resolve cards. You know you're in deep, but John has Dean's other No More Lies. And that's gonna be it. The handshake from John. John C defeats Dean M on Azorius Control. Falls to Niv to Light. And congratulations, John, you're going to the finals. We will be back very soon with the finals of our Pioneer 1K RCQ. However, if they decide to chop or whatever, if this is the last round, thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, we appreciate you. Either way, I will be back to let you know what happens. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And I will be back momentarily. But if you're watching on YouTube, again, like, comment, subscribe, and watch the next video. We will be back momentarily. Thanks for watching.